Hello, everybody. I'm at work. It's been raining, excuse me, it's snowing. So, not a lot of people came in today. So, let's see if we can get through this. Um, yeah, I'm also reading the Virginia Gouffre memoirs that were included in Ghislaine Maxwell's court case, and that pretty much, exonerates. It just shows that she was just a sugar baby prostitute. And yes, effectively, this is starting very young, but it's going on all the time. This is not something that was unique to Jeffrey Epstein. And everybody said, even Trump said, oh, yeah, Jeffrey, he likes them young. Everybody in New York knew what was going on. Everybody in Palm Beach, everybody in the country knows what's going on, and they've been shutting me out because I've been denouncing this. So yeah, I keep on telling all of the socialites, the social media influencers, uh, the journalists who have been shutting us up about how the whole feminist movement has turned all of the American women, well, women in the West, and nothing but a bunch of gold digging whores. And it's become so normalized that nobody even bats an eye. And then you have the feminists with their Me Too movement, and they were going to destroy all of men. I mean, this is, I've been exposing this stuff for over a decade. Um, Ever since I got nowhere. I mean, if the feminists were really women's rights champions, then I would have gotten some help in cleaning up family courts, because the courts are handing over 70% of sexually and physically abused children are handed over to their abuser. Child protection services are trafficking kids. The Taft Obama stuff that was supposed to, they were like, oh, we're going to get children out of foster care into stable homes. Sounds good. And what they did was, for every child that was moved from foster care into an adoption, the federal government got money. And as we saw in the Sasha Riley case, that was a child brought in from Germany, and these kids are being trafficked. Um, Erica Kirk's Romanian Angels. It's all over the place. Everybody knows. Everybody's making too much money. They want to shut everybody up. And that is, why they went after. I mean, it's almost to the point where if they come after you, it means that you are innocent. And it's just a witch hunt. If you're part of their satanic uh, networks, then they'll protect you. And I've been exposing this for almost 20 years. Um, and I mean, nobody denies it. They just say, shut up, stupid, shut up, stupid, shut up, stupid, go away, and try and marginalize me into non-existence. But I keep on saying, you guys, and I mean, this goes up to the top of the IMF, the World Bank, UN, Congress, State Department, universities, academia. Um, let's see, Phyllis Chesler, she's one of these feminists. She was raped by her boss in 1978, her boss at the UN in 1978, but she was convinced that to go after him would be discrimination because he was black and she's white. See, this has been going on for a long, 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 long time. all of the ladies that went after me in the IMF. I have lawsuits against all of the little witches, and it's these black women. It's black women, brown women, Asian women. They've all everybody who's come to the United States has not come to contribute to the democracy. No, they've come here to cash in. And they think they're just real smart because, they're here to destroy the country and turn it into a third world, uh, and being welcomed with open arms. I mean, Matt Taibbi and Ariana Huffington, they wrote books years and years and years ago about how the country was being turned into a third world. Have they done anything about it? Oh, they're amongst the many journalists who need to have their assets seized. Ariana, she needs to be expelled from the country. And Matt Taibbi, well, his wife, I'm pretty sure his wife is foreign. So he's renounced, his children are stateless, rightless people. I've been warning everybody. My Global Expats Project, that was the whole thing, was because all the expat wives clubs, Federation of American Women's Clubs Overseas, FACO, over here, was started in 1931 by the wife she was Carolyn Curtis Brown. She was the wife of the guy who started Curtis Brown Publishing Company in England. They are big. They handle all of the Winston Churchill stuff. Winston Churchill's great granddaughter went to my boarding school in England, Cobham Hall. See, we're all related and everything. But the thing is what, as James Burnham explained in 1941, the biggest challenge of the modern age is managerialism, not capitalism, versus communism. And World War One, World War Two, everything in the past couple hundred years, all of these wars, these revolutions to install democracy has just been bullshit. It's all, and I mean, the Americans have been, since World War II, the motor, oh, we're going to spread democracy around the world. That's a bullshit. That's all a propaganda campaign by the State Department and the American government and the American military-industrial complex to just make tons and tons of money and create a country that's controlled by the military-industrial complex and the intelligence agencies, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA. All of those things need to be dismantled. These people are working overtime, and it's all about controlling the resources of the country. And the military-industrial complex has gotten in bed with all of the corporate industrialists and mainstream media, and even now all of the podcasters. All they care about is likes and subscribes and making money. So it's all the same. As Nancy Eisenberg points out in her book, White Trash, 400 Years Untold Story of Class in America, Americans have interpreted class to mean the accumulation of wealth and privilege instead of a function of how one treats other people. And that's why, you see, I even heard Pierce Morgan was being criticized by some kid, and rightfully so. Pierce, he's like, oh, I'm here. I promote robust debates and all of that crap. I mean, we hear it all over the place. No, Pierce is just there to. He loves to get people arguing and fighting and stuff like that. I mean, there's no debating on his platform. He likes to just invite people who are going to antagonize each other. And so I mean, he's really going after Prince Andrew. If you listen to him, um, here I have some of his, there we go. Yeah, this is, oh, here, this is another, is Andrew Lowney. He's really, I mean, he's like so pro. If you listen to him, both Pierce Morgan and Lowney, oh, they can't say enough things about how great Queen Elizabeth was, how great Princess Diana were. Those two women did more to destroy the British monarchy than I think Queen Victoria, or as much. So that's. I'm going to try and make this quick uh, because I am at work, so I don't want to play too much here. But here are all, like, here let's go here. See, okay. So let's hear. Instead of playing all of those, you can go in and listen to all of those interviews. It's the same thing. It's either Pierce Morgan trashing. Well, here you don't have Pierce Morgan too much, but here you have Lowney trashing uh, Prince Andrew. I mean, in just the most horrific manner. I mean, this guy, he's looking at charges of treason. And I have been explaining this to the journalists for a long time, because what the feminist tried to do is just bring down monarchy now that Queen Elizabeth was leaving. Um, so hold on just a second. Got somebody here. Hold on. So we'll go back here. I'm not sharing this. So here's the email that I just sent on Friday. Monday, we will give a few days to Mr. Bloxham. This is Prince Andrew's lawyer in the case in his arrest right now. And dear Mr. Bloxham, I'm contacting you about the arrest of Prince Andrew yesterday. Encourage you to heed my words instead of ignoring me like your contemporaries. I've been working on court reform for 20 years with my area of expertise, family court, and cross-border cases involving domestic violence. However, unlike all of the women's and human rights lawyers and experts in the game, I am advocating for due process and presumption of innocence of all defendants instead of supporting witch hunts and perjurious testimonies of gold-digging prostitutes like Virginia Giuffre. As you can see on my activism website, I sent exculpatory evidence to Andrew Bretler in the accusations against Prince Andrew in 2021. But like elsewhere, he just ignored my communication to the detriment of his client, for which he charged lots of money. I guess I didn't finish my sentence. I hope at this time you will not make the same mistake and see my YouTube video on his arrest. That was the one that I posted on Friday. It was my understanding that expensive prep schools like my alma maters, Cobham Hall in England and Foxcroft School in Virginia, were created in order to educate American and English young ladies to be upstanding citizens and future leaders in their countries. Unfortunately, they have been used as social climbing institutions of narcissistic and psychopathic mothers and their social climbing daughters, who cancel the respectable and honorable women in society who've been calling out all of the pedophiles, con artists, and gold diggers in their midst. Queen Elizabeth's reign was not the great success story. Everyone is pretending. And if King Charles, Prince Andrew, Prince Edward, and Prince William do not grow a pair and take control of their country and government, England will descend into another civil war, and King Charles will suffer the same fate. King Charles III will suffer the same fate as Charles I. As my dear departed father always told me, the Wilcoxes and Dickinson families have been challenging the British crown for over 500 years, starting with Puritan clergymen Thomas Wilcox, co-author of Admonitions to Parliament, a Puritan Manifesto, 1571, and Thomas Wilcox, author of A Choice Drop of Honey from the Rock Christ, 1666. However, my objective is not to overthrow and replace the British crown like my adversaries in the game, but to assure their success and a long, fruitful reign. As seen in the past 100 years, the overthrow of monarchies in Europe led to World War I and World War II, with bloody dictators replacing the oppressive royalty. Oh, they replaced. And my mission is to prevent World War III and another Holocaust. Yeah, see, you should always reread through these things several times amidst mistakes. Okay, I hope you, Prince Andrew, and King Charles will heed my words, because I am a friend and not a foe. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I remain at your disposal to answer any questions you might have. Okay, so what, I'm going to go to Baron Coleman, because he was...
There was a...
Start.
That's all I can tell you. There's a whole lot of working behind the scenes. And tonight is going to begin to set up, I think, one of those behind the scenes components. So I hope you guys will stay with me. I hope you guys will take seriously what we talk about tonight. I thought I fixed my headphones, but the one on the right is still messed up. And it's causing me a little bit of irritation, but I'd rather talk with an irritated right ear than no right ear. So, not that you care. Not that you care at all. All right. Hey, other housekeeping issues. We will be back live tomorrow. But I just saw somebody mention Brandy and Billy, and I saw someone mention them earlier.
Come on.
So somebody did a multi-part podcast about it. They gave a lot more illumination to the story than even I knew. It is fascinating. It is a fascinating tale, and it's relevant, it's topical, it's timely. I'll explain why in the opening, but it had a timely component.
Come on, where's your opening?
People immediately took to X and other platforms to try to identify this woman. A leading candidate was...
Okay, hold on.
Putting my chapters in, and I know when to drop a marker for the opening statement. All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Here's your opening statement. Something fascinating happened in Washington, D.C. last week. While testifying in a deposition about seemingly innocuous and painfully minute details before the House Oversight Committee, Les Wexner, began to recall a time when someone in the Einstein orbit suggested they hire the lady who ran the embassy in Rome. People immediately took to X and other platforms to try to identify this woman. A leading candidate was Lindy Boggs. Lindy Boggs was a former congressman from Louisiana who at one time served as the United States ambassador to the Holy See in Rome. Whether or not Wexner was talking about Lindy Boggs or someone else, Wexner's attorney clearly was not amused with his rambling answers and leaned in to give him the now famously overheard statement that he essentially would remove Wexner from this mortal plane if Wexner answered questions going forward with more than 5 words. They both, Wexner and his attorney, locked eyes and gave awkward laughs. The deposition continued. I don't know if they were talking about Lindy Boggs or not. She certainly fits the bill, but I do know that we wouldn't have ever heard of Lindsay Boggs if not for the weird and unsolved death of her husband, Hale Boggs. Thomas Hale Boggs Sr. was a towering figure in the United States Congress. He wielded tremendous influence over the Democratic Party's strategy and major legislation during the middle of the 20th century. He was born way back in 1914 in Long Beach, Mississippi. He moved to Louisiana and graduated from Tulane University Law School in 1937. He entered politics early, winning election to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1940 at the tender age of 26. It made him the youngest member of Congress at the time. He represented Louisiana's 2nd District, which included New Orleans. He served only a single term from 1941 to 1943 before losing re-election. He then enlisted in the Navy Reserves at the peak of World War II. After serving in the Navy Reserves, he reclaimed his House seat in 1946 and held it continuously for the next 26 years until his incredibly mysterious disappearance in 1972. Hale Boggs, in short, was brilliant. He rose through the Democratic ranks and had a distinct reputation for eloquence, strategic acumen, and the ability to persuade Republicans to join his various causes. He became a protege of Speaker Sam Rayburn and was appointed Deputy Democratic Whip in 1954. From 1962 to 1971, he served as the House Majority Whip, where he played a pivotal role in advancing Lyndon Johnson's Great Society programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and civil rights. His influence grew as he broke with the Southern Democratic politics of the day. Despite signing, the 1956 Southern Manifesto against desegregation, he later supported the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. In the wake of President Kennedy's death in 1963, President Johnson appointed Hale Boggs to serve as one of the 7 members of the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, commonly known as the Warren Commission. He was one of only 2 members of the U.S. House to serve on the commission, the other, of course, being future President Gerald Ford. The Warren Commission produced an 888-page report that concluded Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone to kill John F. Kennedy. He fired 3 shots from the Texas School Book Depository, and there was no evidence of conspiracy. He initially publicly defended the core tenets of the report. In a 1966 appearance on CBS's Face the Nation, he called the single bullet theory very persuasive and argued shots came from behind. He attributed conspiracy beliefs to human nature, preferring complex explanations over a lone gunman. But in reality, Hale Boggs harbored significant private doubts, particularly that a single bullet caused non-fatal wounds to both Kennedy and Texas Governor John Conley. The theory was crucial to proving Oswald acted alone, as the Zapruder film timing made separate shots by one shooter improbable without it. Along with Senators Richard Russell and John Sherman Cooper, Boggs viewed the single bullet explanation as improbable or unconvincing. He expressed strong doubts about it and reportedly felt torn, wishing he had never signed the report. Boggs was outraged by the FBI's reluctance to provide hard evidence on Oswald's potential intelligence ties, drawing an admission from Alan Dulles that CIA records on figures like Oswald were heavily coded and hard to verify. He later accused FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover of lying his eyes out to the commission on Oswald, on Jack Ruby, and on the bullets used in the assassination and other related matters. These reservations aligned with broader internal skepticism. For example, 3 of the 7 commissioners vigorously questioned the single bullet theory. For the sake of public reassurance, the commission prioritized unanimity. It softened language from compelling to persuasive evidence. Boggs' criticism remained mostly private during his lifetime, though aides and family noted his lingering dissatisfaction. His doubts contributed to ongoing debates about the Warren report's thoroughness and transparency. In 1971, Hale Boggs ascended to become House Majority Leader, the 2nd highest position in the Democratic caucus, and the de facto next Speaker of the House when then Speaker Carl Albert would leave that position. On October 16, 1972, a twin-engine Cessna 310C aircraft operated by Pan Alaska Airways vanished during a short flight from Anchorage to Juneau. On the missing plane was Hale Boggs. Along with him was Alaska Representative Nick Begich, Begich's aide Russell Brown, and their pilot Don Johns. The disappearance remains one of the most enduring mysteries in U.S. political history. The flight originated as part of a campaign effort. Hale Boggs had flown to Alaska to support Begich's re-election bid. In part, the trip was as much about mending the relationship between Boggs and Begich as Begich opposed Boggs during the 1971 leadership contest. They departed Anchorage International Airport just before 9 a.m. local time. The weather wasn't ideal, but it wasn't unusual for autumn in Alaska. There were overcast skies and reports of marginal visibility. There was some rain and potential icing conditions. 38-year-old Don Johns was an experienced pilot with more than enough time flying in Alaskan conditions over the preceding 15 years. Johns owned Pan Alaska Airwaves and had accepted the charter the previous day. The plane's last radio contact was at 9:09 a.m. This was a routine check-in with air traffic control over Portage Pass. This is a notorious mountainous route prone to turbulence and sudden weather shifts. Weather reportedly played a central role in the disappearance. Forecasts indicated ceilings of 1,000 to 2,000 feet with scattered showers. But pilots reported icing at higher altitudes. The plane is believed to have disappeared in the Chugach Mountains, which feature rugged peaks and glaciers, complicating navigation. Eyewitness accounts, including sounds of an aircraft over Whittier, suggested that the plane cleared the pass but may have encountered worsening conditions over Prince William Sound. The plane's disappearance triggered what was, at that point, the single largest search and rescue operation in history. It was, in fact, massive. Alerted when the plane failed to arrive at noon, authorities mobilized 40 military aircraft, including C-130s and helicopter from the Air Force and Coast Guard, and an additional 50 civilian planes, 90 total aircraft. The search grid covered 325,000 square miles of remote Alaskan wilderness, from the Gulf of Alaska to the inland glaciers. The aircraft logged a total of 3,600 flight hours searching for the lost plane. Advanced technology for the era, such as infrared sensors and side-looking radar, was deployed, but dense fog, high winds, and snow hampered the efforts. They even employed psychics and perhaps, and even reported a mafia informant's tip in 1995 about a bomb. All were investigated, but no wreckage, bodies, or debris was ever found. After 39 days, on November 24, 1972, the search was officially suspended due to deteriorating weather conditions and lack of leads. The NTSB report released in 1973 cited probable causes as undetermined, but emphasized adverse weather and possible pilot error. The plane lacked an emergency locator transmitter, or ELT, which might have aided detection. This oversight prompted Congress to mandate ELTs on all U.S. civilian aircraft.
Okay, well, what I wanted to show there was the Boggs family. Now, the Boggs is Louisiana. Those are the Biggs. Hold on. I've got the Boggs in here. People are more than welcome to go in to, here it is. Here it is, the Boggs family, my ancestry.com people. So you have Hale Boggs. You just had his mistress in there. So Lindy Claiborne. So after Hale Boggs was killed, Lindy Boggs, she became the, let's see, where is her profile? Okay, let's get her over here. She took over for her husband and became like the first woman Democrat from Louisiana. She was political, so she served after her husband died, and then she was elected into Congress. And she was also a permanent chairwoman of this 1976 Democratic National Convention. So, you know, she was launched into she was the ambassador to the Holy See, you know, so this really launched her. She went to Tulane, you know, launched her career as having an all feminist. So the thing is with her children, so you have Barbara Boggs Sigmund here. They'll be over here in her profile over here, her children. So Barbara Boggs Sigmund, she was a Democratic politician and civic leader. Yeah, right. She served the Mercer County. This is up in New Jersey. Now her children, her siblings were Cokie Robertson. Yeah, it doesn't have too much about her children in here. Here are her children. What all of these children are doing over here now. David Sigmund, Stephen Sigmund, Paul Sigmund. As I say, you can, you know, these are all of these, you know, her family, they become part of the swamp. So she became a politician in New Jersey through her husband. They moved up there. But see, Thomas Boggs, he transformed let's see where we got Tommy here. 1960s, 70s, really. I mean, he made lobbying what it is today. And he was one of the architects of this lobbying system that completely controls the American government. And there's Squire Patton Boggs none of the Boggs are over at Squire Patton Boggs, but Squire Patton Boggs is one of the biggest law firms and lobbyist companies, if you will, in Washington. And in fact, this was 2015, Frank Semelius. He's the head of the global part, and they're all corporate. You know, they just corporate and high wealth people. They don't care about anything else. So it's this whole structure within the legal community that is colluding in the destruction of democracy, the Constitution, and everything. So, and then this is showing these. Um, then Cokie Roberts. Oh Lord. So Cokie Roberts, they called her the founding mother or something. Yeah, founding mothers of NPR, National Public Radio. Well, that is completely woke. NPR, I met with the ombudsman. That was Alicia Shepard. She was the cousin of a friend of my mom's. When my case back in 2010 about my case in Spain, and she just swept it under the carpet. And all of I mean, I've been raked over the coals in labor in workplaces here. It's out of control. Out of control. So the problem here's with Cokie Roberts. She, as I say, she was the NPR, and NPR has been one of the, how shall I say, leaders of the woke movement in Washington. And in fact, one of the first times I saw somebody, a journalist, who was silenced and canceled, was Juan Williams. He was at NPR and he got ousted because he said that when he got on a plane, this is 2010 as well, when he got on a plane and he saw somebody in their turban, Muslim attire, that he became afraid that, it might be a terrorist who was going to blow up the plane. And that was considered, racist. And I'm like, no, you guys have been promoting that ever since 9/11. Everybody's afraid to get on a plane. They're paranoid. So he's not, you people are crazy. So anyway, it's not what I want. Okay. So hopefully this thing is going to be working okay. I keep on share there. So let's go back to my slides. Yeah, so we'll see, as I say, here's the bogs of Louisiana, and I work for Senator Bennett Johnston from Louisiana, and he has been ignoring me ever since I've been back. His son works just up the street at Steptoe Johnson, and I've been soliciting assistance from them since I've been back. And I want to see all of these law firms in court. It just, here, Baron Coleman, he said he's going to even contact Tyler Robinson's lawyer because he's like, well, I don't know if he's really doing a good job. And if he's, a lawyer has an obligation to defend their clients. Now, this is what my case against my lawyers in Spain and all of the different lawyers I've contacted in the past 20 years. I mean, I've prepared cases, I've argued them, it's ready to submit, but lawyers won't submit. So my question becomes, well, where do you have a problem with what I'm arguing? Because it's to uphold the U.S. Constitution. Therefore, by default, you, by your mission of action, you are working to undermine democracy and constitutions. So this is just the link to the Only Black Lives Matter, the Candace Owens Black Supremacy and White Replacement in the UK. Because with the Candace Owens assassination of Charlie Kirk, and particularly Tucker Carlson, is saying, wait a second, white replacement. Well, we're being replaced because bimbo bitches like his wife are sitting in country clubs and couldn't give a shit about what's going on in the country. She went to St. George's. Her father was the headmaster there, and he was involved in the cover up of sexual assault and molestation of students and teachers of students while he was there. You know, this has been going on for forever. Here's another one. Cher Denise. She recently, I guess a couple of years ago, came to Washington. Her husband, ex-military, and now is part of the bodyguards for whoever, but part of the bodyguard pool for the federal government employees. Well, little girl, you're crap shooting everything. Because I've contacted her. She wants to come to Washington to just cash in and, play prima donna. I mean, I liked her. She did these book reviews like Ethel Kennedy. She was like, oh my God, these people. Ethel Kennedy, and particularly, I think it was the Kennedys, but she did some others. There was also Martha Stewart, just atrocious behavior. But again, she loves to criticize the elite, yet she aspires. This is what she's come to Washington. She wants to social climb and come to Washington. I mean, the military has been used as social climbing institutions as well. To get off the farm and go and fight in a war, and then you get into the military industrial complex and you make lots of money. It's all a racket. It's all a racket, and these guys are involved. It's been going on. I mean, this is what the American Revolution was about, and are challenging the Brits. I mean, the Brits haven't changed their modus operandi, so you might say, well, they keep on self-destructing and self-destructing, and this whole thing about, the international development community is the family, is the unity, the backbone of society. And even Candace's husband, where is he, George Farmer, and his father, he's a baron. He's in the House of Lords. He's the first to be in the House of Lords. But his family, again, when I went through his family, this would be in 43.1 and 43.2 on Candace Owens. I went over that, and how his family has been involved in all of this. His father was a metals trader. His grandfather was a metals trader who crashed and burned and destroyed the family finances and destroyed the family. He and his sister were almost taken away from their mother because their mother was an alcoholic and their father was an alcoholic, and he died. And they were brought up in poverty, even though they were from respectable families. So this, Erica Kirk, Isabel Brown, Riley Gaines, Candace Owens, these are all social climbers. Yeah. Okay, so back to my slides. As I say, we've got the white replacement going on there, and the minorities, black supremacy, and all of the minorities are just taking over the countries because the white privilege are asleep at the wheel and offered everybody up as sacrificial lambs. Got Foxcroft over here in the United States, Cobham Hall over there. This is 4.3 on the Candace Owens one. So here I wanted to play this because um, I mean, I like this Valhalla. He's nice, but and he hits it on the mark. But see, he is the typical managerialist who just wants to, bring down the. He wants to replace the white collar guys, the frat boys. So it's just like the feminist and the anti-feminist want to destroy all of the women and become the new queens. The men are going through the same thing, the white men. So you see how all they want to, they just care about getting laid and having lots of money for themselves, and the world be damned. This I sent out. So this was, let's close some of these things. Otherwise, I get. Um, so this I posted in March 20th, because I was like, what is going on here with Trump? I was glad to have him, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. That was good. And I was like, well, thank you very much, because it's about time. Uh, but here, I'll read this. So this I posted on March 20th. This is almost a year ago. At present, I am terribly concerned about the intentions of America First Legal, whose founders, Stephen Miller and Gene Hamilton, were the architects of the separation of children from families and engagement at the southern borders during Trump's first administration. I contacted AFL in 2022 about Biden's domestic violence extremist report, which has been used against Trump's January 6th supporters. Baron Coldman was a January 6th lawyer. So why is he ignoring me? But they just ignored me. The categories of VEs in the report are as, if not more applicable to the feminist and minoritist Democrats than the alt-right populist supporters of Trump. So why have they not used the information against their adversaries? The appointment of Miller's wife, Katie, as spokesman for DOJ or Doge is DOGE is further cause for concern and questions. I fully support the written mission of Doge. However, the recommendations I sent to them have been ignored, and the policies and practices have been implemented under South African Elon Musk are counterproductive in the short and long term. I sent an email to First Lady Melania, also an immigrant, through the White House website seeking an audience and support from her. But again, I have been ignored. My question at present is the final solution of the Trump administration to exterminate millions of undesirables, just like done in the Hitler's Holocaust? Given the current situation and how history tends to repeat itself, this is exactly what is going to happen, and not a stupid conspiracy theory on my part. As seen when Trump recently sent 2 military planes full of Colombians back to Colombia, foreign governments are not going to willingly accept undesirables back into their borders. So what does everyone plan on doing with the millions of foreign men, women, and children no one wants? Are they going to be exterminated in death camps? I mean, I've been telling Federation of American Women's Clubs overseas, IMF Family Association, World Bank Family Network, my siblings, my brother, his girlfriend, they're from the Philippines. Out, everybody, I have been denied my rights. My children have been denied their rights. Well, everybody's saying these are the new rules. Okay, well, if this is the rules. It's kill or be killed, destroy or be destroyed, friend or foe, and last one standing. So that's the name of the game. That's That's not what the founding fathers fought to protect and defend and create in the Constitution. However, that's what the American people and legal community and politicians, I've knocked at everybody's door. That's what everybody wants. So we are at a point whether, as I say, there is no other option except a call to arms. Um, and it's going to be a bloodbath, real bloodbath. Okay, so, and what happens to dual nationals or second or third generation citizens? Candace Owens and her husband, their children, rightless, stateless people. What are they going to do? Sell them to these people who are sacrificing babies? I mean, this is the situation where we are right now. It's you're either part of the protected group and your children won't be taken from you and used in sacrifices and drinking their blood and eating them and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I've warned Meghan McCain, Lauren Bush, they've got children right now. They want to play hardball. We play hardball, but they are offering their children up as sacrificial lambs. They want to destroy me and my children. Well, it is what it is. The immoral and illegal norms and standards which everyone has been protecting and defending for decades has created a pity pickle for billions of migratory people. As I said, yet no one wants to face the reality of the situation they have created. I have a comprehensive immigration and globalization reform plan which would solve the problems of sending states as much as receiving states. But since that gets into the Convention of, the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, that they use sending state and receiving state. But since I want to do it in a peaceful, lawful, and humane manner, no one likes me because I'm going to rain on their warmongering, too big to fail parade. In 1940, the population of the Third Reich territories was 89.6 million, with about 6.5 million Jews, homosexuals, academians, vagrants, and undesirables exterminated during the Holocaust. I got someone here. Where am I? Okay, so did this get my, I don't know if this grabbed my, this is not working out very well. Yeah, so we're looking at about, in the United States, almost 24 million displaced people. They're going to have their assets seized, their property, their assets, and what are we going to do with them? Then there's 300 million globally. Again, rightless, stateless people. What do we do with these people? I mean, this is the situation that the international development community, the feminists, the anti-feminists, the white supremacists, the black supremacists, brown supremacist, yellow supremacist. Everybody wants to be chief and everybody wants all of it for themselves and wants to be queen and king of the world. And this is what it has produced. So all of this has come to pass because a bunch of frat boys and sorority sisters on both sides of the pond did not want to deal with any unpleasantness and have their shopping sprees, nervous breakdowns, or jubilees and coronations disturbed. Power elite have been off their mark for centuries. Managerialism is the root of all evils, not capitalism, communism, or religion. American philosopher James Burnham warned policymakers in Washington in 1941 that the greatest problem to economies and societies was not communism versus capitalism, but instead managerialism. And unfortunately, no one paid attention, and the country has become involved in needless wars over communism, capitalism, fascism ever since. The minorities and feminists just jumped on the bandwagon of managerialism in the 1960s and 70s. And instead of making a positive contribution to American society or public policy debates, as they vocally claim, they have trashed the country and its institutions worse than the WASP men did before them. In 1940, the Beltway population was less than 1 million, but since then, even after the 1987 and 2008 financial collapse, says it has steadily been increasing to over 6 million and is expected to grow at the same rate for decades to come. While shopping center, conference rooms, overpriced restaurants, private clubs, casinos, colleges, and theaters are overflowing with brain-dead locals with taxpayers and donors' money to burn, the museums, because Washington was created to house the American government. Everybody who's here, either they're directly or indirectly taking the taxpayers for a ride. The museums, libraries, archives, and cultural centers, which the rich and famous have donated to benefit the poor, are filled by tourists trying to soak up a bit of culture. As seen with DC in the past 80 years, one cannot educate or civilize a society or community which is completely lacking in morals, values, principles, and consciences by showing them artwork and delighting their palate. Inhabitants of the Beltway pretentiously contend that they are the second smartest city in the country, yet they are more ignorant than the redneck hillbillies, manual laborers, and populist groups they scorn and disdain. Only 2% of any population are geniuses, and only 4% are above average intelligence, whereas 14% of American labor forces possess PhDs, MBAs, ESQs, and MDs, with too many of them residing in DC. While the low-wage immigrants which have been creating havoc in labor and housing markets for decades need to be sent packing, the ones with college degrees and six-figure salaries need to be included on the list. Washington was created in 1790 in order to serve as the headquarters for a federal government which would serve the people. It was not created as a playground for the rich and ruthless with trust funds and the fat, lazy, and stupid with welfare checks. Well, it makes me laugh when the kids in DC respond, "Jane who?" when I mention Jane Fonda's name. The complete lack of knowledge of American history and lack of basic cognitive abilities American youth is atrocious, and the problems will not be solved with STEAM programs in schools or Tiffany Justice getting on a podium to give a speech about transgenders. If all of the money and hot air which was being wasted was put to good use and the con artists were sent packing, then the American public debt, which is increasing $1 trillion per each year, and currently at 36 trillion, would soon disappear, and the economy would become a healthy and sustainable one. Okay, so as I said, that I posted almost a year ago. Now, I did send it to 721 of my contacts, my connections on LinkedIn. Now, the only ones who responded, let's move this up here first. The only ones who responded were 3 people. 3. My neighbor in Madrid, who really is digging herself in a hole, and this John Walcott. He's a journalist. Where is journalist, DC, journalist, author, speaker, former professor at Georgetown University School of Foreign Service, advisor to Toffler Associates and Global Technopolitical Forum. Played by Rob Reiner in Shock and Awe, and he's on Substack. Well, we went back and forth, because apparently his aunt, 11 times removed, let's go into my ancestry.com. I have to keep that because I do have his tree in there. That's going to be Walcott. Wilcox, Salem witch trials. So he's, where is he? I know I had him in here. Oh, so here's the Mary Walcott. She was the one who was Salem, Massachusetts, and she was involved big time in the witch trials. I'm sure, I thought for sure he had, well, okay, oh, here it is, over here. I knew I had him in here someplace. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, see, that goes up and up and up and up. But here he is. If anybody wants to look in, let's see, his children. Oh, I put that up there because that's his. See, it goes down here. Yeah. So see, it all, but that's his family tree. You can find it in there. Um, but as I say, he's, oh, y'all didn't see that. Sorry, I was on my slides. So here's his family tree. And this was John Walcott, who came to Salem, and these are the Salem witch trials, as I say. This was Mary Walcott over here. She was one of the ones who instigated that. And one of the things that I've been demonstrating is how it is this, the gossip and these vicious, viperous women who are creating all of these witch trials. But he thought, oh, all very interesting. I mean, this is all, oh, very, very interesting in theory, but nobody ever wants to apply anything. He's sitting there. I mean, he's a professor at the School of Foreign Service. Okay, and then another one who contacted me, John Carney, finance and econ for Breitbart News. He said, this doesn't seem like something I want to read. What is it about? I responded to him, but he never answered. So I want to see both of these guys in court. I mean, if they can't follow, they can't follow. I can barely keep a roof over my head and get minimum wage jobs because I'm not qualified, apparently, yet I can run circles around all of these experts with six-figure salaries. So, see, the thing is in the social contract and under national and international law, they want to challenge me. I'm a stupid idiot. I should just go and jump off a bridge because I'm a parasite on society and no use to society. Well, no, it's kill or be killed. So they're, as I say, they want to put their life, their property, their families on the line. That's their prerogative. But when it comes time to pay the piper, they can't complain. See, this is why they're all going after, anybody who's a threat to this house of cards. that all of, whether it be John Walcott, John Carney, or Nicole King over here. She was my neighbor in Madrid, and now she's a having it all journalist with Good Morning Spain in Marbella. And as I told her here, she wrote, truly thought, though provoking, she can't even say truly thought provoking is what it should say. And I responded to her, you and all the other expats should be looking at all of my research and work in DC for the past 17 years, because by turning a blind eye to the plight of victims of the court, they have created a pretty pickle for themselves with rising nationalism and populist movements. I mean, I don't want to say, look, bitch. I'm trying to be diplomatic. You should also check out my blog. I just posted about a Brit journalist, Marianne Seigart, who is an alumni of my alma mater, Cobham Hall. See, it goes British. So she's looking at seizure of her assets and ejection from Spain, but she's also looking at treason laws, colluding with the Spanish press. Pierce Morgan is involved in that because he's been selling the lifestyle of the rich and famous, Marbella, Monte Carlo, all of that. Marbella has been owned by the Russian mafia since the time of Franco, and while Monte Carlo, yeah, that's been a casino. That's had a lot of shady stuff going on there for a long time. I did contact Stephanie of Monaco. Also, that's another one that's out there. I don't know. I'm not hearing back from them. So again, crap shooting Monaco, that would be a nice little principality to have under, it's kill or be killed, and everybody's assets are on the line. I don't know what I have to say to these people to make them understand what they're looking at. But they're like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Nobody can touch me. Oh, am I? So she is one piece of work, and just another example of how, that's with Mariana Sargart, and how Cobham alumni are out to lunch as Foxcrops. I mean, Foxcroft is all the Robin Bear heirs and heiresses. This gets into the banking system, the Astors, the Vanderbilts, the Mellons, everybody. Everybody's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, going to jump off bridge. Okay, fine. And this is, I know it's to break me. And I was on the phone with my siblings last night. As a Brit, you should take a look at my defense of Prince Andrew and lobbying at King Charles, because if he does not take charge of his country and family, the House of Windsor will not survive. See, I've told her what's on the line. And as I say, she's looking at treason charges. And immigrants in England are facing these same issues as those in US and Spain. Those in Marbella are going to eventually feel the heat themselves. I sent her the links. She responded, I'll leave that to you. Kisses. This woman is a real backstabbing. I mean, you talk about backstabbing bitch. And I said at the time, I was like, her son is going to end up in prison. So now her daughter is in Marbella. She has children, so she's looking at seizure of her assets. Her children will be taken away from her, and who knows where they'll be sent or what will be done with them. Sold into satanic rituals, who knows? I mean, this is the situation everybody wanted. This is what they got. So then I responded, I know. That is the standard response I get from everyone I know, and why the House of Cards is eventually going to collapse and leave me holding the bag and the booty, bitch. See, I try and keep my tongue. Somebody last night on my way home stops me. and or I guess it was Saturday, and they start. It's one of these. They want me to sign a petition for somebody who's running for office, local office. And I'm like, well, wait a second. And I always tell them, wait a second. If you stop me and I listen to your spiel, then you're going to have to listen to my spiel. They always end up running away. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I keep on telling everybody, they keep on saying, well, you missed the boat. And I keep on saying, guess what? The boat you got on is a Titanic. And you left me at the docks holding the booty, bitch. Okay, so she responds to me the next day. I don't think I explained myself well, nor do I think that I am to blame for the situation. Rather radical. Blame for the situation? I mean, of course, she's not my lawyer, but I mean, she can't say innocent bystander because if she wasn't a journalist or claiming to be a journalist, then I wouldn't have much of a case against her, except for the fact that in Spain and Europe, you do have an obligation to assist someone who's in if someone is in danger, you do have an obligation to assist them if it won't put your own life in danger. In the United States, you can just stand by and let somebody drown or die or whatever, and you can't be charged with murder. I mean, I think maybe what happened with the Holocaust and Europe during the World War II is maybe what started that law that if somebody is in a position of danger, then you have an obligation to assist them. Probably where it's coming from, we probably need that in the United States because obviously it's like, well, I don't care about anybody. Gives a shit. You're being sacrificed in front of me. You're being murdered in front of me. Too bad. Let's see. So anyway, I have chosen my own causes. Yeah, I'm going to be very interested in seeing what causes she's chosen and what's happening with them. And hopefully each of us addressing our immediate issues will make a difference. Well, no, see, this is what I've been demonstrating. Um, yeah, so this is the thing. These backstabbing bitches, then they get involved in charity work with their causes, and it doesn't it doesn't absolve their sins. I mean, this whole thing of like sacrificing people in order to absolve your sins. I've never understood that thing. I'm not ignoring the situation, but I am more active in a less vocal way. That I leave to you. So she's more active in a less vocal way. So, I mean, I can't wait to find out what she's been doing behind the scenes. Please. I mean, I prepared all of these cases. She's going to have to explain in the international courts under crimes against humanity where I am wrong in my explanations of my defense in building these cases. This is my own case against Spain, but this, you know, I've got a whole bunch of other cases that I've cross-border cases of children, and then there's also all of my labor rights violations here in DC since I've been back. So I mean, this, as I say, I'm going to have to get her in court, and she's going to have to show what exactly she is doing to address the problems I've brought to her attention. I've been bringing to everybody's attention for 20 years now. Be Be well, be happy, and please don't take the whole world on your shoulders. We each can do but our bit without criticizing others in the process, hopefully. I mean, I haven't taken the world on my shoulders, it's been put there. And she's doing her bit again. I want to see all of these people who are either journalists claiming to be defending freedom of speech and democratic principles, whether it be the journalist, whether it be like John Alcott, the academians, this John Kerry guy. I mean, this is Breitbart News. Breitbart News, I want to see in court. See all that these, as I say, I've been on the committee of outreach to the journalists for over a decade with the protective mothers, but I am the committee because the second we ended, we had the meetings. This was over at a law firm. I'll remember it was 2014, I'm pretty sure. And Hobart. I know exactly where this law firm is. It's right near the Willard Hotel. Hubble and Lowell or something like that. That's another one. We got to see him in court. God damn domestic violence activists always have their meetings over there. And, 2015, I went to a cocktail party that they were holding there. And another woman and I just looked at each other. She was also a victim turned activist. And she just said to me, she said, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of this bullshit. And if I need something to drink or eat, I can go and buy it myself. I'm not coming to any more of their goddamn receptions and all of this bullshit. And I even saw Carrie Bettinger Lopez there and Terry, what was her name? Terry O'Neill. She was the head of the National Organization for Women. And I saw them both. And Carrie Bettinger Lopez actually had the gall to say to me, oh, we just love your blogs. And I looked at her and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna see you in court. I mean, I literally wanted to slap the bitch right in front of everybody. I promise that woman is going to prison for the rest of her life. I mean, this whole stuff about Ghislaine Maxwell is nothing compared to Carrie Bettinger Lopez. She was the lead counsel. Get into this. Okay. Lead counsel on Gonzalez Carreño. Oops, I messed this up. It's 2000. So, yeah, this is Carrie Bettinger Lopez up here. Sorry about that. And Women's Link Worldwide is the other one. Yeah. Oops. So, yeah. Oops. No. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so um, why is so the first this is the first jurisprudence that we have on violence against women as human rights violations, and that is Gonzalez Linehan versus USA 2011 Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. And it's the typical case that we all see. Uh, there was a protective order against the abusive father and husband, and he murdered his children. And, the mother's calling the cops. They failed to do anything. And I mean, I think in this case, the cops were like, it's his father. He's not going to hurt his kids. All of these cops need to be thrown in prison. They're all criminals. Either they're beating their wives and killing their kids, or they're covering it all up. I mean, we have a huge problem of domestic violence. among police officers and the military. So of course, they are going to side with, it's just like within the courts. They're going to side with the abuser because they're all a bunch of pedophiles, a bunch of rapists. I mean, everybody's realizing, yeah, pedophiles and rapists and murderers, they're the ones who control all of our institutions. So again, this was the 2011 Carrie Bettinger Lopez. She's going to have what? I mean, the American defense was that they did not have control over their courts at state and local levels. So I said, well, ladies, if the American government is claiming that they don't have control over the government at state and local levels, well, then the federal government has no legitimacy. Tell them to pack up and go. Everybody in this town, drain the swamp. You guys are illegitimate. Go. So, I mean, this is why we will end up in a civil war, because we can't get politicians, we can't get lawyers. Everybody just wants to keep the injection of artificial money coming in, and the world be damned. So they can go shopping and get laid. It's that simple. It's that simple. Then we have González Carreño versus Spain. Again, the women's linked worldwide. They were the lead counsel on that case. By that time, that was 2014, I had already prepared my case against the Spanish government. I had exhausted all the domestic remedies. My favorite was the Bar Association of Madrid that claimed it was the right of my lawyers to violate my rights under the principle of judicial independence. I was like, you people are crazy. See, we have to get them into a court of law. Now we can't get this any relief at the national level. So we definitely we can demonstrate, we can prove we cannot get relief at the national level, so we have to take it to the international level. But the international people it is just political. Absolutely political. So, yeah, it's there's no good, can't get it, as I say, no good faith. So we either can take it to the international courts, but since the international courts and everybody at the international level are just, the IMF, the World Bank, the UN, they're in the United States, and everybody who works in those places, they're just using it as social climbing institutions. So, apart from Women's Link Worldwide in Spain, I also contacted several times Baltasar Garzón. He became famous. He's a Spanish judge who became famous for his going after the Chilean dictator Pinochet under universal jurisdiction. And the thing was Baltasar Garzón is in Spain. He calls for an arrest warrant, or what do they call that? He initiates an arrest warrant for Pinochet. But while Pinochet is in London, he was there for medical reasons, he's in London, but the crimes that he committed were in Chile. And even Baltasar Garzón said he didn't think that the arrest warrant would be upheld by the English government and the English police, but it was. And that's kind of universal jurisdiction. He launched it, and I'm like, well, I'm working under your universal jurisdiction. I've been told that the problems that I found in family court are going on every place in the world. So I'm calling universal jurisdiction here. Um, can't get past his idiot secretaries and the idiot kids he has working for him. Now, somebody there was an article that said, oh, Baltazar Garzon, all he cares about is getting up on a podium and giving a speech. And that's right. So he started a nonprofit. He's good friends with Ingrid Betancourt, who I was very supportive of when I was in Colombia. And she launched her presidential campaign um, for peace for her country. Well, she and her sister, you know, Ingrid has been in London, going to hanging out at Oxford, and Astrid has been in Paris, cashing in on increasing real estate. So both of them are looking at seizure of their assets, expulsion of the country, and their children. Their children have French. Well, some of them have American and Spanish nationalities. They're going to lose them. Oh no, not Spanish, French. So it's, it is what it is. So, yeah, Baltasar Garzon, he's ignored me, but again, Spanish government has, Spain has one of the most utopian constitutions in the world. Uh, However, their lawyers are out to lunch, and just like everywhere else in the world, are more involved and more concerned with destroying their constitutions and their democracies rather than using them to uphold people's rights. Uh, so anyway, the Brits involved in this, these are the Brits in the United States as well. Russell Brand is involved. He's being attacked by the Me Too people. He went out and hired Andrew Bretler, Prince Andrew's lawyer, who Prince Andrew needs to sue him for screwing up his case. I contacted him. I mean, lawyers who are intentionally sabotaging their clients' defense not only need to be sued for damages, but also need to be thrown in prison. So the Treason Act, we will be looking under. I mean, again, Andrew Bretler, he's American. So going after him under treason against Prince Andrew is difficult because he's American. Now, this new lawyer, what's his name? Bloxham. What's his first name? Gary Bloxham. So he is British. So if this guy ignores me, then he is looking at treason, because all of this, and I mean, this is 20 years of research. And if the feminists in England or anywhere else want to prove me wrong, more power to them. The anti-feminist, the fact that Ed Martin, Phyllis Schlafly, the Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Forum, which is a split, but that whole camp, those are the anti-feminists, they've ignored me as well. So once again, I'm going after them on RICO, Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organization Act, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and Enemy Alien Act in the United States. So, Andrew Bretler, he may not be facing, British laws are not applicable to him on American soil. However, American laws are applicable to him on American soil. And this, going after Prince Andrew, this is the back door into destroying the British crown. And my concern, I mean, it's not, I don't like to see anybody humiliated and attacked when they're innocent of something. I don't care who they are. They can be a king, queen, or prince, or just a commoner. I don't like to see that. But so just from a humanitarian perspective, this is not correct. They're not, what they're doing to Prince Andrew is not right. But it goes farther than that, because if the British monarch is brought down, England is going to descend into a bloodbath, horrific bloodbath. And that's what I'm trying to prevent. And everybody who is against me wants the bloodbath. It's gotten to that simple of divisions in the whole thing. So, right replacement, discrimination and hate crimes against white Americans and opting in moms and political dissenters in DC. Here are the cases I have prepared. Timeline of cases of just DC employers, and that gets in. I mean, I have the black supremacists, the feminist supremacists, the American Indian supremacist. I mean, this is precious. When I first started working here, so this is 2 years ago. My goodness, is this already 2 years ago? I get this phone call from somebody doing a survey, if you will. There had been reports of bullying here and complaints to their HR department. So what do? They hire a consultant to call somebody and say, are you having problems of bullying? Are you having problems of bullying? And I was like, well, yeah, like everywhere else. And so she said, well, it's normal then. I said, no, I didn't say it was normal. I said, it's like everyone else, but it's not normal. But you can't, I mean, labor rights violations. Here, go and call with Russell Brand's team, trying to tell him, don't go and hire Andrew Bretler. He'll stab you in the back. And of course he does. Here's a conversation with Morgan and Morgan. These are RFK Jr.'s partners. I can't remember if the firing, but anyway, one of the firings that I got, that was Mikasa. That was the American Indians. That was the pretext. But the feminist, she's a Latina feminist. Her mother is white trash, and her father Latino. So Gabriela, she picked the fight with somebody she shouldn't have picked the fight with. Particularly, she's got a young daughter. So that's a restaurant right up the street, and everybody keeps on thinking, well, just sweep it under the carpet, sweep it under the carpet. Statute of limitations. I mean, everybody just says, you can't touch me, statute of limitations. And I just go, guess what? I'm coming after you on RICO. So statute of limitations doesn't exist. Or they'll pull out diplomatic immunity. And I'm like, no, diplomatic immunity. We're coming after you under international human rights conventions, under crimes against humanity, genocide, all sorts of stuff. So once again, diplomatic immunity doesn't apply any more than statute of limitations. But everybody knows that the protection racket of the white supremacists like Trump, the McCains, um, the Mellons, the Astors, the Vanderbilts, all of these little girls from that I went to school with at Foxcroft. Same can of worms with everybody from Cobham Hall, or at least the British, because, for example, Vanita Gupta, that's India. Um, so, and then, well, Natasha Robertson, I mean, of course, she's British, but her family, for 300 years, I think they've been in Portugal. Still don't speak Portuguese. Yeah, so that's Taylor's Port and Wine in Portugal. Oh, I adore those vineyards. Mine, I mean, everybody want to play hardball with me. Too bad. So again, we'll go because people are trying to turn this into, uh, you know, that they're going after him for, oh, they can't get him on molestation of children or whatever that, so we're going to go after them after Prince Andrew on sharing state secrets. You didn't share any state secrets. These are some stupid reports, government reports. I mean, you get inboxes are inundated with these reports that everybody's producing, churning out, but nobody's reading because they don't all got their head up their asses or in the sand like ostriches. Um, so anyway, I mean, all of this is completely bullshit. So I'm hoping his lawyer is not going to ignore me again and say, I know everything. I'm this big, high priced lawyer, and I got this. I got this. Because he doesn't. Because they're going to come after, and he can turn around. Oh, he can turn around and screw them all and have the British crown grow a pair and take charge of their country. They can go either way on this thing. But of course, I just don't think Fluxum is going to contact me. I really doubt it. So this I already went into in the last. Uh, these were were email exchanges and stuff, which with this is about the Bushes. I mean, there are so many people, the Clintons, the Trumps. See, this is why they want to bring Prince Andrew down, because Prince Andrew, and I don't think the only, I don't have it in this one. I think I'd have to, these are from previous things. I don't think I have it here. I think I'll have to go into the next one. Um, yeah. So the only, oh, here it is. Here are the issues. So the only my only real concern, like, as I say again, Prince Andrew, they've attacked him on such bullshit that I'm sure he's innocent. Because if they go after you on bullshit, then it's because they're afraid of you and they want to bring you down. Um, so my concern was King Charles, because King Charles was his mentor, if you will, and surrogate father was Lord Mountbatten. Now, Lord Mountbatten, we know very well, was a pedophile. And I mean, just person of extremely low morals. See, the FBI knew, but this is already the psyops. We're starting. They were controlling the royals, with all of the scandals, get the dirt on them, get the dirt on them. Because if you had the dirt on somebody, I mean, you control them. They're going to shut up. Yeah, I'll expose you. I'll expose you. This is what I told everybody when my old damn divorce started. And the whole witch hunts of my husband, saying that I was a drug addict and alcoholic since I was 12 years old. And this is what it says in the court documents. And this is where not only the Spanish government owes me damages for defamation, but so do all of the people who were involved in it. My neighbors, anybody who signed those perjurious letters. But it is what it is, and I'm on my own. It's kill or be killed, destroy or be destroyed is the name of the game. So yeah, my concern was always King Charles. Has he been involved with diddling little boys or anything? Because you're hearing about satanic rituals in Buckingham Palace, but I do believe the proof up until present is the royal family, everybody in the royal family, Prince Charles, King Charles now, King Charles, Prince Andrew, his brother Prince Edward, Prince William, Prince Harry, not perfect people. Not perfect people by any means. A lot of baggage. But not pedophiles, not rapists, um, you know, relatively upstanding citizens in the environment that we're working in at the moment. And this is why they want to be taken out. And this Lowney guy, Andrew Lowney, if Prince Andrew's lawyer right now doesn't go after Andrew Lowney, Piers Morgan, and any of the other British journalists who are dispersing misinformation and lies about the British Crown under treason laws, then we know he is colluding to bring down the British monarchy and install a dictatorship in its place. This is where we are at the moment. He can argue with me. He can call me and say, "You're full of shit, lady. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And we can have a discussion, but that's where we are. Unfortunately, I tried to get through to Fergie. She's written books, children's books. The woman who does the children's books with her, I tried getting through to Facebook. She just ignores me. Well, see, she's looking at treason laws. Oh, another is Lady Colin Campbell. I contacted Lady Colin Campbell when this whole thing started with Prince Andrew, because she was one of the few who was like, this is not pedophilia. 17-year-old girl is not pedophilia. And that's what he is being accused of. Even if he had sex with her, it is not pedophilia. And if she was 17, it's still not even statutory rape. Do I approve of 40-year-old men having sex with 17-year-old or 20-year-old girls? Not really. I think everybody should stick to their own age, but it's not a crime. So, okay, well, that hopefully this thing, all of my pauses work today. Otherwise, I'm going to have to redo this thing. Okay, that's it. Stop share and then end.